Temperatures reach up to 65. Dry and turning much cooler Friday and Saturday, with highs from the upper 20s to the low 30s. I'm meteorologist Megan Mulford. Right now, it's 58. 98.7
Kiss Country. It's 8:42, and be nice we had a little bit of sunshine, but we do not have any sunshine today. Just like the forecast said, some rain, all of that. We have on Wednesdays a little thing called the Shelter Scoop, and it's brought to you by Garner Vet Clinic and Garner Pet Resort and Wash, Dr. Bruce and the whole crew. How are you, Sybil?
Well, I'm a little flustered this morning because I was running a little bit late. I left my house and got a few miles away and realized I didn't have my cell phone on me.
And you're like lost in panic.
Yeah, a little bit, right? I'm like searching my pockets and my purse and like, oh my gosh. And you have a routine in the morning, where I get up, I snuggle my cats, I take a shower, I snuggle my cats, I, do this, snuggle my cats. And so I always set my phone on my bed though, and then pick it up when I leave. Well, this morning I just didn't think to pick it up. And when I went back, I realized turned around, went back home. And I realized the reason that I forgot or I didn't pick it up was because my big fat orange cat was lying on it completely and covering every square inch. So out of sight, out of mind. So I had to roll him over and retrieve my phone.
And to roll him over. He couldn't just shoo him off the bed.
Oh, no, he was in a deep sleep.
Oh, was he? Oh, my.
Oh, yeah, he's really squishy. And so you can't just picking him up is like picking up warm Jell-O. And so you can't just pick him up. You have to just gently roll him over.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So the Shelter Scoop, what's happening at the shelter at the Humane Society of North Iowa?
Well, I wanted to highlight some special animals and that have been with us for a little while now, and one in particular that is a very popular breed, but it's received a lot of skepticism in recent years, just because everybody has gone out and gotten dogs of this breed, and sometimes it doesn't always end up how you wanted it to end up, and they end up in shelters. And so I'm talking about a dog in our care named Jake. He's a Labradoodle, and anything you add the name Doodle after anything, J Doodle. Now you sound cute,
right?
But you're still not housebroken, I'm sure.
Yeah, but look, I got curly hair now again.
Oh,
yeah.
Time to take you to the groomer. But Jake is a Labradoodle that, man, he's like a year old or maybe a little bit older than a year old, but got as a puppy because they thought the breed was adorable. And he is. He's a really cute dog. But given absolutely no training, no boundaries, no nothing. So now he's like an out-of-control toddler, But he could be controlled in the right home. Like, he just needs somebody that has experience with training a puppy and a dog and setting boundaries and giving him a routine. Labradoodles are very intelligent dogs, and Labs are very loyal dogs. And so you throw those breeds together and it should be a perfect combination. But sometimes, if they're not put in the right direction, they can get themselves in trouble. And such is the case with Jake. He was a frequent runner in his previous home, and he ended up in the shelter as a stray and then never reclaimed by the owners. And so now he's looking for a new home. He is, about, like I said, about a year and a half old. So still considered that puppy stage, but he's not that like, I'm just going to take a little nap in the corner puppy. He's I'm going to run all over your house unless you help me get rid of some of my energy puppy. Right. So he needs a home.
Is he on your website then?
Yes, he is.
It's clear at the bottom under dogs.
Yep. On the right-hand side of our website, there's a search tool that you can search for his name as well.
Okay.
He's white and cream colored, and just a really cute dog. But so he's going to be a wonderful, perfect pet for somebody, but it can't just be a person who's like, oh, I've always wanted a Labradoodle. It needs to be a person that knows what they're doing with a dog that needs some structure and some training and some, manners and things like that. Learning how to walk on a leash, that kind of thing. Like, this dog was just kind of given free reign of his previous home, apparently. Sure. And so that never works with human babies, and it certainly doesn't work with dog babies either. So he needs some work. Because of his size, we would recommend that he not be in a home with small children, just because he'd knock them over and, he'd want to wrestle with them, and he's just too big for that. And we think that he gets along with other dogs and probably cats. I mean, most cats are just like, ugh. If they don't like dogs, they'll just give them a swat in the nose, and that's usually all it takes. But
Sure.
He's a really special dog. He's been here now for 2 months, and we've had a lot of interest, but it's from people that might not necessarily know, the training that needs to be involved with this kind of dog. Like they're expecting him to be this perfect dog. They come to meet him, and he's not perfect. He doesn't mind manners. He's jumping around. He's learning how to walk on a leash. But in the time that he's been with us, he's shown lots of progress. And so we absolutely believe that this is a dog that, once trained, will be a wonderful house pet.
Oh, and speaking of Labradoodles, I mean, they're fantastic. I've got one, and smart as a whistle. He's almost too smart. He outsmarted me already.
Okay. I know you're waiting for a shocked response, but I can't be shocked.
Right. Well, what he does,
I didn't know you had a Labradoodle.
Potty training. He would go out, he'd do his duty, he'd pee in the yard, he'd come in, sit down, and this stuff that I all worked on him and trained with. And he learned very, very quickly. Sat down, waited for his treat, got it, went over, got a drink of water and a couple bites of food. And then he sat and I walk away from the door. He'd go back over there, sit, whine. He'd go outside again. He'd have to go outside, go out, and then he'd doo-doo in the backyard, come in, get a treat. So he got 2 treats for going out twice instead of just going out once and getting 1 treat, doing both duties. He got a treat for every duty that he did out there.
Well, good. He's gotten you trained.
It took me 2 days to figure out what that little guy was doing. And then I go, wait a minute, you're going out and you're going to stay out here and then what he does is he just lays down in the yard, looks at me and goes, what are you going to do now? So
then you got to give him 2 treats instead of 1 if he does both duties in 1 trip.
Well, yeah. I know it. But yeah, I'm like, oh boy, we got.
But you're doing the right thing here. You've got him. You're training him. He's gotten some structure. He knows the routine. He's trying to undo that routine or override that routine and get special treats for you. But you've done this before. You've trained a dog before, many dogs, and so you know what you're doing with your young dog. And unfortunately, Jake's previous home didn't give that kind of structure, and so that's what you're saying is exactly the kind of care that Jake needs. Just some structure, a routine, a schedule, and to let him know that you're going to take care of things and that he can, be a part of the family.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. That's all they want to do is they want to be a part of the family, and so I'm telling, I'm highly recommending this Labrador, Jake, because being just a year old, a year and a half, or whatever, then whoever gets him is going to enjoy the living daylights out of them because they're like you said, the labs are loyal. The poodle is just unbelievably smarter than a human. Well,
yes,
at least this human.
A lot of humans.
But to have the, I mean, you're going to go through a frustration period of a day or whatever, where you go, oh, why don't this dog listen to me? But really, they do when they want to.
When they learn their place in your home. And, there's lots of dogs out there, German Shepherds and the Shepherd breeds and the Poodle breeds. These are dogs that are like, they're so smart, like you said. And sometimes it's, too smart for their own good. Yeah. And they can outsmart their owner very easily and manipulate their owner very easily. And so you just need to be an owner that knows what they're doing when it comes to dog training and, helping a dog like Jake acclimate into a new home. And so
the nice thing too about it, like a Labradoodle, is because I wanted a lab again. I've always been a lab dog, black lab. That's what I've always had, and it's been 2 years now since Dixie, and I wanted to get another. We bought a house, and I want to get a dog, and it wanted to be a purebred black lab. Wife fought me on it for I don't know how long, and then she was gone for my birthday, and I said, "Oh look, I'm going to get a dog." She's like, fine, put the deposit down. I go, okay. And so I didn't at the time. But to come to find out that she wanted a dog that didn't shed, well, Labradoodles don't shed. They're hyperallergenic for the most part. I mean, every dog's going to shed a little bit, but
yeah,
being a lab and a doodle, you're not going to have much shedding. So if that's what you're worried about, don't worry about it. Go out and get Jake, right?
Yep. More information about him is available on our website, which is hsni.org. HSNI is at Humane Society North Iowa.org. We're doing adoptions by appointment, and so the whole process is outlined on our website. or you can give us a call at the shelter to learn more about him as well. Number and contact info is on our website as well. But help us find Jake the appropriate and perfect home.
Absolutely. Sybil, as always, it's great to catch up with you.
Yep, you too.
Waking you up weekday mornings, Jay Brooks and the Morning Rush.
Humorous remark detected.